Hi guys, welcome back to Layla's Light, and today I'm going to be doing a book review. I've been wanting to do a book review series, so here's my so we're going to start with one I just recently read. The time reading it took me to read this book on the review here is not accurate because I was reading a bunch of other books at the time, so it's like switched up a bunch, but it's My Name is America, the Journal of Sean Sullivan. And I'm just going to jump right in we're going to start. So basically, the first thing I want to start with in this series every time is age rating. So if the age rating is higher than your age, you probably shouldn't be watching the book review. First up is age rating. I'm rating this pre-teen to teenager because first off, there's a lot of mentions of death. A lot of death. A lot of shower grave digging. A bunch of bodies in one big hole. I don't know if anybody saw that yet. Very judgmental to Chinese people. Because it was 1867 people, so yeah. But the main reason is because there's a thing called scalping in this book. I'm not going to even, you can guess what that is, and the Native Americans did that, but I'm not going to go any further into that because it's kind of gross, just really gross. Don't want to mention that, but yeah, and wouldn't recommend this any to preteen to teenager age, and there's one swear word in here, somewhere, it's the H word. I don't want to say it because I'm not gonna say it. But anyways, that is the age rating. Is basically this. So their dad went off to war. There was these kids named John and Sean, but this is mostly about Sean. Their mother dies while giving childbirth. Really sad, and the dad was not there. And he comes home, he feels depressed. He's like really depressed. And then a transcontinental worker comes and asks him if he wants to join the railway. He doesn't want to at first, but then their uncle and aunt, the John and Sean's uncle and aunt, which are they live with, urged him to go, and he goes. And a year later, Sean joins his father. John stays behind, and it's basically the story of the way he works his way up and all the tragedy that happened during the railway and everything. Like they dug these shallow graves and just threw these bodies in, and then they finish, and they go home. And later in the eupology, I have more to say about this. I just want to get this base on. Sean gets married. No, Sean works for the other railway that's being built from San Francisco to somewhere. John joins them, and then they all work together, and then John and Sean get married. Sean has two daughters and 3 sons. He retires from the railway and becomes an activist worker. And then his daughter becomes an activist for women's rights. It's just so happy ending, though. But during this story, it's the cruel reality of the railway was. There's no regard for human life, and these greedy men, as they go through Hell on Wheels towns, they're dying and diminishing and trying to earn money because they get money for mileage, so they're pushing their men to the limit. And then some end up dying from dehydration, shootouts, a bunch of Native American attacks. It's just really disrespectful for human life. It's really tragic. It's just tragic. I keep saying tragic multiple times. And they had no regard for human life at all. They just buried them in shallow graves, small circle. One time they buried 25 men from a shootout in a hole. No grave mark, nothing, and no sermon. They just threw them in the hole and buried them. No regard. Just nothing for the human life. that's basically the whole story. Is a historical fiction, so it's a cruel reality we have to face here with this. But the story's happy for him, but not for most people. I'm so sorry. And it's like really sad what these workers had to go through. Like their dirty plates. They nailed the plates to the table and scrubbed them with a sponge, but they weren't able to scrub them immediately because the men were impatient. And most of those plates probably were covered in like old food and mold and whatever. But I read this anyways, yeah, that's basically the whole plot. I scratched my neck, dang it. It's a historical fiction. I'm not a historical person. I'll read a historical fiction. I dabbled in it. I like fantasies, fiction, like stuff that's made up. But these books, I have 3 of them, are really good. Like, really good. Like, this is from Scene's perspective. It's like, they're journals of these people. And most of these people were children. It's a fictional character, but you feel so much for these characters in historical fiction because what they go through. And it's amazing. This book is like pulls. Anyways, I'm not normally a nonfiction person as historical fiction person as I am. But this book is masterpiece in its own right. And I rate it 4 stars. It's not 5 stars because, like I said, it's not my genre. But I like it so much. Like, so much. It's like, masterpiece. But, yeah, I rate it 4 stars. Sorry for the rant. And also exposes all the greedy people during the railway. You know who you are, greedy people. Even though you're dead, you know who you are. Anyways, let's go into reading time, and like the reading time I took to read this book. And like I said, it's not exact because I was reading other books at the time, like I said in the intro, but let's just get into the reading time. It's a total of 184 pages. That is including the English section. That's including the historical that's including the horse. I cannot talk today. I am sorry. That is including the historical I cannot phrase. Okay, it's including the historical pages. They put a little historical thing on there, like pictures and such. And there's a map in the back of the railway, actually. It's kind of hard to find. You gotta pull this little paper part out. I didn't notice that first. I didn't even know it was there. I looked at it. I thought it was just a page that decided to decorate in there. That I found out it was openable. But with other books I was reading in the process, like I have mentioned, I am reading this off a piece of paper. If I glance over here sometimes, I'm trying to recheck. But basically, it's took me about, how much did it take me? Okay, I'm checking, I'm so sorry, 3-ish weeks, but it would probably, like, take a week if you read it progressively, like, it's only 184 pages. I could have knocked this out in a day, honestly, but if you really want to stick to it and want a whole reading day, this would probably be done, like, 5 hours a day. You could probably nail this in a day if you read it all day, but, it took me 3 weeks to read. I am so sorry. My brain is not functioning right now. But it'd probably take the average person a week to read. At the most would be 3 weeks, which is I did because I was reading other books and I didn't really want to read this because I thought it was boring at first, if I'm being honest. But yeah, the reading time should only take you like a week, and if you're in a car ride, a day at most. But anyways, let's get into the final review. Final review would be 4.5 stars, including everything including the plot, reading time, and everything. 4.5 stars for the full story. It just pulls you in once you like get going. I could not put, I kept picking the, I stopped reading this. 1 minute later, I was picking it back up again. I found myself doing that. Because this story is just so good. And I liked it so much. So 4.5 stars is my final review. And yeah. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please share it with your friends. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.